honestly never gonna get tired of that theme song, guys. But what is up? Just like I'm never gonna get tired of that theme song, I hope you guys have not gotten tired of me yet, because that is right. I am back at it again for episode number 8. How great! I am so sorry I'm late, but I promise you this episode will be worth the wait. Trust me, I can do this all day, but we're gonna jump right into it because I've been neglecting the harmony side of this show for way too long, guys. As you can see with the banner behind me, this beautiful banner, harmonies is just as important to me as the hustle, the sports that I talk about. I know I talk about sports a lot, blah blah blah, but I do like music. I am an aficionado. I like to consider myself, so definitely gonna get right into that. So, with that being said, we're gonna flip the script and we're gonna talk about some harmonies. We are gonna kick off the harmonies portion by me doing a little bit of a humble brag. Yes, I'm sorry, but I'm very fortunate to work where I do, that a bunch of legendary artists have come through and performed. Very recently, actually, we had Duran Duran who went out there and performed, legends in the game. We also had Blink 182. That's a big nostalgia act, at least for me, especially, growing up in that era of rock. They were one of the people I like to listen to. All the Small Things, I Miss You. You have a bunch of these different songs, and they're classic. It was just amazing to see Travis Barker hoisted up above the stage, just drumming, and he's one of the greatest drummers to ever do it. I'm gonna give him that. You gotta give the man his flowers. Phenomenal, and a new daddy, so congratulations to him. So yes, it was amazing to see them. Not only them two, but we did have the legend herself. Yes, Miss Alicia Keys came through as well. She put on a phenomenal show. It was the first stop of her Keys to the Summer, I want to say it is, Keys to the Summer tour that kicked off about a month ago now. We're about to hit the 2 month mark soon, so getting into a month of Alicia Keys. She is well on her way in this North American tour, so if she hasn't stopped by your city and she's coming, definitely get your tickets, go out there and see her. It is an amazing show. A bunch of her classic songs were performed, as well as some of her recent ones, so you get a little bit of that mixed. So that's enough of the humble brag for now. So just very fortunate and blessings. Just wanted to tie that into the harmonies part of this show. Doing what I do. I do love music as much as I love sports, so seeing them live and kind of cool that I get to talk about it too on a show, so that's amazing. But also, this weekend that just passed, we had Rolling Loud, which is about 15 minutes away from where I live here in Miami, Florida. The 3-day rap music festival featured all of the popular acts of today in the world of rap. We were headlined by Playboy Cardi on Friday, kicking things off. Phenomenal. Not only that, Friday did see the first time Latin artists were featured in this festival, as El Alfa was, on the show, and he was on the festival. He performed, as well as Anuel AA. So shout outs to them. Hispanics being represented at a rap festival is not something you see every day. As like I said, they were the first to ever do it, and hopefully not the last to ever do it, because you do have tremendous rap artists in Spanish music, so they're able to throw it now. Very diverse people, so there's a very diverse crowd. You have diverse acts, so brings in a lot of not only revenue, but it brings in eyes around the world. This of course was the Miami portion of it, but Rolling Loud, as we know, is all over the world, from New York to, I believe there's also a California one if I'm not mistaken. So just shout outs to the Latin artists that showed out on Friday. Day 2 was headlined by Travis Scott. Yes, Travis Scott was debuting some of his songs off his highly anticipated album Utopia, set to be released as announced by him this Friday. We'll see if that holds to be true. That album is set to be accompanied by a film directed by Travis himself. So we'll have more details on Friday, hopefully, when it's all released. I think it's directed by him or he is starring in it, one of the two, but Pretty sure it's the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Travis putting on a show. He's a phenomenal performer, very controversial. We know the history that he has, but it was good to see him out there having fun, enjoying himself. You can't hate on anybody for that. At one point, a kid was on the stage and did get to perform with him. Travis, good guy all around, class act. So shout out to him for not, throwing the dude off stage like Akon kind of thing. So no hating on Akon, I do love him, but to say the least, we did have Rolling Loud come to a close yesterday. Boo, I know, but it was closed out by none other than Rihanna's baby daddy, ASAP Rocky, who put on a tremendous performance, closing out the show, performing all of his new hits, refusing to want to do any of his older ones, jumping into a new era of music. Same with Travis Scott, now leaving the Astro World phase of his life and getting into this Utopia phase. We'll see what exactly that entails when it's all out in the open, but it should be something worth watching, I'm sure, knowing Travis and knowing his recent history of releasing albums and how well he's been and how successful he's been at doing that. So definitely kudos to them, kudos to ASAP, kudos to Travis for getting away from, that past album and jumping into new work and jumping into a new stage in their lives. Travis, we know, being a father, not Travis, I'm sorry, well, actually both, yes, but ASAP, the more recent father, a two-time father to be. So congratulations to him as well. But keeping it in the genre of rap, actually, before we finish the Rolling Loud, we did have a performance by Lil Uzi Vert, who recently released his Pink Tape. Finally, it was a tremendous album. Gave it a listen. You had that very versatile mix of rock music with rap music, so a phenomenal job all around. There's a hit in almost every single song. You have those hidden gems. You have 3 bonus tracks, I believe, on that album. So kudos to Lil Uzi Vert. He definitely knows how to reach his fans. He knows what his fans want. And he went out there, he gave it to them, he gave them a mix of everything, went out there, Rolling Loud, performed his hits from that, performed his hits from then. So he gave the crowd a tremendous show. Almost refused to leave at one point. Not refused to leave, but the crowd did not seem to want him to go. So he gave the crowd an encore and performed, of course, the song that's on the album, but it's become a TikTok phenomenon. I just want to rock. Yeah, just want to rock. So give that song a listen, give that album a listen. I promise you're not gonna regret it. So we're gonna end the Rolling Loud portion of this show. We are gonna jump into the next portion. We're gonna talk about none other than Drizzy Drake. Yes, I said it, the man himself, the GOAT, the GOAT of the rap game, set to release his album For the Dogs, I want to say is what it's called. Not 100% on that. Do not quote me on it. But it is set to be released very, very soon, according to Drake. So highly anticipated, just as anticipated as Utopia is, if not more. Drake has reached that level of superstardom where everything he releases is a must listen. So I want to see what happens there. And I will definitely be in tune when it does come out. I will definitely know when it comes out. And it is going to be something that will need to be reviewed on this show because it's Drake. Come on, we know. Between him and Bad Bunny, whatever comes out, we definitely have to listen and we have to discuss. So give Drake a chance. Let's see how this old era coming into the new era of Drake, going back to his old ways as he's teased. So they want the old Drake. They wanted the old Drake. Now they're getting the new. They're getting the old Drake. So let's see what happens there. And we are gonna close out Harmoniez by talking about not only an album, a soundtrack, but a film that is a must-watch. The soundtrack Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. Part 2 in the Spider-Verse comic films. So part 2, Across the Spider-Verse. Definitely give that movie a watch because it is a must watch. I am a cinemaphile, so I love to kind of break down movies and every aspect of it. The cinematography in that film is tremendous. So the graphics all around are 10 out of 10 for me, as well as the storyline and the ability for that film to leave you wanting more and to leave you with that feeling of satisfaction but also craving for a new one. So the build up to it, I'm sure, is going to be phenomenal because first one was and this one was, and as long as they stick to their guns and keep doing what they've been doing, it should keep with the success that it's had. So shout out to them for dropping an amazing, amazing, amazing film. Not only that, it is accompanied by a tremendous soundtrack that is produced by none other than hitmaker. Oh my god, I almost said it. Metro Boomin. Yes, it is Metro Boomin. I almost said Mike Will made it, but it is not. It is Metro Boomin. Yes, the man himself, the legend, the soon to be legend. He is the GOAT, to me, one of the best producers in music right now. So he definitely proved that with this album, Across the Spider-Verse, getting legends like Lil Wayne on there. You had Don Toliver, Coi Leray. You had Lil Uzi Vert on 2 tracks. Future is on it. So give it a listen because it is incredible. It's definitely a rap heavy album, but there are some soft bangers in there. Coi Leray dropped a phenomenal song in there. So throughout it, you're just gonna have a bunch of different gems, and it's an amazing soundtrack that accompanies an amazing film. So both of them do it justice, hand in hand together. It makes for an amazing experience. And if you do decide to do it, you're welcome. You can thank me later. But that is gonna do it today for I can barely speak today, Jesus Christ. That is gonna do it for Harmoniez, guys. We are gonna jump back into what I know and hopefully we'll blabber less on, and that is gonna be the hustle muscle. Yeah, we're gonna talk about sports. And we are gonna start this segment off by talking about the ladies because, as you know, ladies first. So with that being said, we are gonna talk about the FIFA Women's World Cup happening right now. Has been happening for the last couple of days. So if you haven't been watching, what have you been doing? It's been nothing but phenomenal action all around. We've had each team play at least one game already, so field will be starting to take shape come this second and third games. As we know, we're here in the USA, at least I am. So those tuning in this country, yes, USA all the way, looking to three-peat as we all know. So hopefully they're able to get it done. It was a good start for them, playing in Group E alongside Vietnam and Netherlands, as we await the 4th member of that group to be decided. Either New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, or Switzerland will take that in a Group A playoff. So whoever comes out of there will have the pleasure of possibly meeting Team USA. How unfortunate for them, fortunate for us. We get it done no matter who you put in front of us. As you saw, a 3-0 win in Game 1 against Vietnam. 2 of those came from the debut of Sophia Smith. So shout out to her. I think I got the name right. Sophia Smith. Yes. So 18 years old, I want to say she is. Comes out of the gate hot. Scores 2 of our 3 goals. So put away Vietnam. We were unstoppable defensively. Trinity Rodman, Julie Ertz, just everybody getting it done when we needed to. You had Alex Morgan go down, came back. So we do what we need to do, and I anticipate us three-peating wholeheartedly. But I gotta give another shout out to my love. As you know, I do have Colombian in me, so I also want Colombia to make it far in this tournament if they don't win it all. So either of those 2 teams come out, I'm really excited for. So shout out to Colombia, a 2-0 win against Korea. So that was a great game, highlighted by a goal from Linda Caicedo. Also, I believe an 18-year-old. She battled ovarian cancer at the age of 15. So coming out of the gate hot. I believe it was a second half goal if I'm not mistaken. But she went out, did what she had to do. Scored the goal for Colombia, led the team. It was an emotional goal. It was an emotional moment. So good to see Linda Caicedo doing work as we all thought she would. She just needed to prove she was healthy, and now she's doing it on the grandest stage of them all. They are playing out of Group H, So they will have a meeting with Germany coming up soon. I believe it is a Sunday game. So definitely want to tune into that. Group F, as we know, we have the Marta group. That is Brazil's pride and joy. She is a phenom. She is the GOAT for Brazil, at least for women nationally. But she is in a group with Jamaica and France. So that is tough. And the fourth member of that group will be decided by a Group C playoff winner. That is Spain, Costa Rica, Zambia, or Japan. We'll see which way that swings, but I do expect Brazil to coast in this group. They did have a game one victory, so I know I'm speaking from that recency bias. So all these teams I'm mentioning 1-0 teams at this point, but they are very strong teams. I know USA obviously favorites to three-peat it. Crazy if they get it done, but it would be no shock if they do. So definitely got to keep tuning in. These are some great games. These are great, terrific athletes. I know we just had the men compete, and what a show that was. We saw Messi crowned with his first World Cup, so who knows what storylines we're going to see here for the women, but give them a shout out, give them some love. I know these games are early. It is brutal. They are 5:30. At least Colombia's next game, I believe, is Sunday at 5:30 a.m. So it's tough. It's tough, but you stay up and you give them the love that you give them the views and you give them the respect that we gave the men. Show out, support them. They are representing our country, so I definitely want to tune in anyway I can. Luckily for me, USA plays 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch them in their next game. They will take on the Netherlands. That is a Wednesday night game, July 26th, 9 p.m. Catch them. Definitely want to see that. I'm just double checking here. Yes. So tune in, USA, Megan Rapinoe, and them getting it done all the way. USA, shout out you guys. Shout out Colombia. Just shout out the World Cup in general. Ladies, phenomenal job. Keep doing what you're doing. And let's get the whole world watching, because that's the whole point. So shout out this. This is also I wanted to give a shout out to Australia and New Zealand, who are the hosts of this. So shout out to you guys for hosting the ladies, and let's get it done, girls. From the ladies on the soccer field, we are going to jump to our next segment. We are going to talk about some of the moves that have been happening in the off season, both in the NBA and in the NFL. We are going to start with the gridiron since it is coming up first, and we are going to talk about the obvious, the most recent trade that has happened that's been making its rounds, or I believe it was a free agent signing, but DeAndre Hopkins, nonetheless, he has found a new home. He has finally left the Arizona team that has seemed to have been giving him a headache. We don't know what kind of off-field situation had led to him asking to want to leave that team, and everything that's gone on. We saw he has now found a new home in Tennessee. Yes, he will be joining the Tennessee Titans after rumors were swirling that he was basically a deadlock to join the New England Patriots, which, you know me as a Pats fan, I would have loved to have seen it. But regardless, Tennessee seems to have found its new star wide receiver. Not the first time a big name wide receiver has been in Tennessee. As we know, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, I mean, look at all the success they've had in Tennessee, right? I mean, it's only right that DeAndre Hopkins is going to join the team that showed nothing but success coming out of the wide receiver position. So, wish you nothing but the best, DeAndre, and your new endeavors in your new home in Nashville. So, good luck to you, brother. And continuing on the trend of free agency, we also have Dalvin Cook, that free agent yet to find a home. Possibly could find one in his sort of old stomping grounds, at least state-wise, his old stomping grounds in Florida. He could possibly be joining the Miami Dolphins. Was offered a contract, didn't like it, but contracts can be renegotiated, can be resent, so who knows where he ends up ultimately. I would like him to come to the New England Patriots. Dalvin, if you're listening, Foxborough is tremendous, especially from the months of September till about January. And then February is very nice too, but we usually are away then. So if you want to come join us, the weather up here is so nice, and go knows, I'll give you that. So Dalvin Cook, that free agent, I know teams are interested. It's just crazy the shortage that we've had of interest in the running back position, especially with all these star ones out there. Like, you got guys like Zeke yet to find a home, guys like Josh Jacobs threatening basically to sit out the whole season if need be, Saquon just reaching an agreement now just to keep him happy, but yet to reach anything long term. He signed a 1 year deal just about today, I want to say it was. If not, it was late last night, but to the tune of about $11 million for 1 year. He'd inked one with the hopes of possibly giving him a long contract. Now that the deal with Daniel Jones, his quarterback, has been reached, they can now focus on the big contract, the next big contract that is definitely Saquon Barkley. So I definitely see Saquon being a permanent member of the Giants. I mean, I don't think he would have reached this agreement if he wasn't going to join them, even after coming out and saying that he might have to tell them that he needs to sit out if they can't come to any agreement. Seems like they have, seems like they're on their way to at least something long term in the future, but for now, enough to keep him happy and enough to keep him playing this year. Josh Jacobs, on the other hand, can't say the same. Josh yet to reach an agreement with the Raiders. Who knows what the Raiders' plans are? They don't really have much in the backfield, so they kind of need to find something if they don't find it in him. But crazy to see that it took a bunch of disgruntled running backs holding a meeting to show just how important the position is. I mean, I don't see the wide receiver room in need of, people finding homes, and I don't see them going out there and sticking up, even though I know it's a family, football is a family, but this running back position is being, in my opinion, very disrespected. And this free agency particularly, we have never seen it this bad, where big names are still sitting there without a home, especially guys like Zeke, Dalvin Cook as well. Dalvin Cook still got some juice in him. Zeke, we also saw that late burst in the season, trying not to lose his job to Tony Pollard, which ultimately resulted in him getting cut from Dallas. So it's crazy to see what's happening right now, but hopefully they do find homes. They are great players, and you don't want to see them on the free agent market long, because they are definitely needed on the football field. They are sights to see when they're on the field. They could still produce and provide for their teams no matter where they end up. So hopefully they find a home. Hopefully Dalvin finds one with the New England Patriots, but that's a story for another day. If it happens, expect me to be here on this show talking about it. So don't sleep on that. This free agency has been crazy, but we are going to shift gears to the other free agency, and that is the NBA. Yes, the NBA. We have a new, I want to say it's the big four now, with the Suns acquiring Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards in exchange for, they got a big star for the equivalent of a bag of Frito-Lay's chips and a cosmic brownie from your local gas station. But nonetheless, Bradley Beal is here. Bradley Beal is a member of the Phoenix Suns. He will be accompanied by the likes of DeAndre Ayton, the likes of KD, and of course Devin Booker, which is pretty much the guy that he really wanted to play alongside. So he's made it happen. He is on his way to Arizona. Look for that team to make some noise in the playoffs. They made noise in it this year. They didn't go as far as they needed to, ultimately being eliminated by, it was the the NBA champs, the Denver Nuggets, who were ultimately the ones to eliminate them from the playoffs. So crazy to see how that worked, but they added that extra piece that they believe will be the next, or will be the piece to get them to that next step and hopefully win themselves a title, an NBA title. But who knows? I mean, there's still a guy out there who's yet to find his new home after, complaining for so long that he doesn't want to be on that team anymore. But whether or not they want to make him happy and please him after he's done so much for them, has given them basically everything they've asked for. He's been a model citizen in his time there, and just doesn't seem to have that in return. He doesn't get the love that he deserves from the organization, from the front office, not the fans, because the fans are not the problem in this case. But whether or not they want to cave and give away their future star and send him somewhere where he wants to actually be, only time will tell. But that's enough for today, and that's enough for Dame time. And this is free agency, and we are gonna end that segment. Dame, Miami's coming. For the final segment, it's actually gonna be a first time doing this on the show. I'm actually gonna talk about a TV show, or actually just a show, a series that has taken over, absolutely dominated Netflix as far as views and all that stuff, to the point where in just, I believe, two a little bit over 2 weeks, and it's already been renewed for a second season. I mean, unprecedented. But this sports document series, NFL's quarterback on Netflix, follows three different quarterbacks. We got Patrick Mahomes, we got Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. We have their everyday lives being followed on the football field, off the football field, how they deal with family, how they deal with players, how they deal with teammates. And you got hot mics, and you can hear the sounds of every tackle and all these critical games just under a microscope. In this series, you can see and hear and feel everything from the Super Bowl game to Patrick Mahomes going down with his ankle injury against the Jaguars, re-injuring it in the Super Bowl. It's all there in this show. But it's really interesting to see this, how they attack the quarterback position, and kind of just give you an inside look of what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL and the lengths that these guys go to just to stay relevant in the NFL and keep their jobs. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, who I don't think is in any danger of losing his job right now, but the fact that he was the champion was, I'm pretty sure, enough to get him on this show. By the way, the show is executive produced by none other than Peyton Manning, so love for the quarterback position, definitely. But back to Patrick Mahomes, wins the chip, so more than rightfully so, he gets the lead role in the show. So it kind of follows his road to winning that Super Bowl and everything that went on behind the scenes, from life as a father to two now, with the addition of Bronze, little nickname for his baby boy that was just born, but also Sterling, his wife, his brother, but the whole family, but just how he deals with life and the things that he has to do in order to keep his body healthy, to keep himself, always mentally checked in and focused in these games. And just sometimes it can't get the best of you. We do see a different side of Patrick Mahomes when he's on that hot mic, but that goes with being a quarterback. We also follow Kirk Cousins in his road to a surprising Minnesota Vikings season that was last year. They went on a tear, winning games and just climbing out of 20 plus deficits and beating all these teams that they shouldn't be beating, and keeping ground in the playoffs, and ultimately losing in the playoffs. But what a hell of a season it was for Kirk and the boys, winning their division. And it was a season for Kirk. We see the process that Kirk goes through just to keep himself mentally prepared and mentally fit to be an NFL quarterback, with memorizing play calls. We see how interesting that is in the show. That some of the things that he does there, I find pretty interesting. It was cool. And life as a father for him as well, and also for the third quarterback in the show, Marcus Mariota, family life, but just dealing with being the lead quarterback in Atlanta, ultimately getting his job taken away from him after the bye week of the Atlanta Falcons, and losing his job to Desmond Ridder, who will, I'm sure, now be the starting quarterback, with Marcus Mariota now being the backup to Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, as we all expect him to be. But it just shows the love that Marcus Mariota has for the game, his dedication to it, being a veteran, and just having to constantly go through this, and all just wanting his moment in the sun and just to shine and prove that he's somebody in the league. But just sometimes it just happens. We saw him in Tennessee lose his job to Ryan Tannehill, to now go to Atlanta, lose his job to Desmond Ridder. So it's been hard on Mariota. This show kind of makes that known. But Mariota is still as humble as they come, as great a person off the field as he is on it, and he's still capable of putting on some good performances, as this show will show you. and he still got some gas left in the tank. If you didn't see any Falcons games last season, you don't know, but he's definitely somebody to tune into. I mean, if he gets his chance this year, but Mahomes, Cousins, Mariota all made for a fantastic season one. I want to know what they're going to do for season two, if they're going to keep those three on it to be the same three all the time, or if they're going to shake things up and add a new roster, which is where this segment comes in. I'm going to take over that role for Peyton Manning for just 1 second, and I'm going to give you my 3 picks to fill those roles for season 2 of Netflix's quarterback. So for number 1, my pick for number 1 has got to be QB1. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins star QB. My reasoning for this would be just documenting all the bumps and bruises Tua had to take all of last season. As we know, dealing with concussions, returning concussions, keeping the Dolphins relevant, keeping them in the thick of the playoff hunt, having to battle that, taking some time off, evaluating his career after taking that nasty hit against the Bengals that ultimately hospitalized him. So just to see what he has to go through in order to make sure things are different this time around, the preparations he's had to take to do that, and dealing with life as a father now. He's a new father, so congratulations to him as well. But Tua definitely had a great season last year. I anticipate him having just as great a season this year, if not better, should he remain healthy. I hope he does. But this series should document him, life as a father, life as a quarterback, and just how he's able to recuperate, how he's able to prepare himself both physically and mentally for the tough task at hand and playing another full NFL season without being scared to take a hit, because at the quarterback position it's gonna happen. You're gonna get hit. You got massive dudes lining up waiting to just get at you. It is their job to hit you, so they want to get paid. How do they get paid? By hitting you. They need that check. So he's gonna have to deal with a few bumps and bruises, but it's just teaching himself, whether it's to fall differently, to protect himself better, to know when to throw the ball away so that he doesn't have to get hit, and just a little bit of things he can do. I cannot sit here and tell you I'm a quarterback, so I know what it takes to do that. So whatever choices Tua decides to make, I feel will make him a great pick to be on this show. And with that being said, we're going to jump to my number 2 pick. That is going to be quarterback Derek Carr. Yes, we know the story of Derek Carr last season. Kind of hit a sour note at the end there, and ultimately leaving the Raiders organization and now finding a new home with the New Orleans Saints. Who dat nation now has a QB. It should be a QB battle. You got Jameis Winston still on that roster. You have Taysom Hill. You have somebody who can play the tight end position, the running back position, and the quarterback position all in one with Taysom Hill. So who gets that starting job remains to be seen now with the addition of Derek Carr. So it should be fun to watch come the preseason and what choices they decide to make. Somebody's got to go. So we'll see what happens there. But he would definitely be a choice just to discuss some of the sour tunes that happened and what led to him wanting to be away from the Raiders and leaving after he basically begged on hands and knees to get Devontae Adams, and they go out and get their boy from Fresno College, and now he left him hanging in the dust. I mean, the QB position in Vegas has been filled by Jimmy Garoppolo, so Vegas does have their quarterback, and now New Orleans has their quarterback. So just to talk about Derek and the things that he has to go through and how he handles life now with a new team, a new coach, and the struggle to end up being the quarterback one. So I think the QB room in the Saints should be enough to get him on that show. That is why he would be my pick. Number 3, and I know another Bama guy. Why? And I'm going to give you my reasons why. And it is for this reason. Number 3, Bryce Young, quarterback, the rookie, the number 1 pick in this year's draft. Alabama quarterback, Bryce Young. Yes, this can document him and his life transitioning from college to the NFL, what he has to go through, how to prepare himself, dealing with new teammates, big boy teammates, and not basically being the little man in terms of age on a new team. So trying to figure his way into the league and navigate the league and all the expectations that come along with being the number one pick are all good reasons to have Bryce Young on the show for season 2. And this Carolina team is a great team. So much like the Minnesota Vikings, Carolina can kind of be that story. If they choose to have a good year this year, you can kind of document that. But they did go out of their way and add some players on the offense to help Bryce Young in his first year, kind of make it a little easy on him, especially since they went out and lost Christian McCaffrey last year at the trade deadline, I believe it was. But regardless, now they're trying to figure out a core of players to work around. Bryce is the first of it, and their defense were no slouches last season, and they were able to hold their own, relatively keeping this team in the game most games, most weeks. So they just need a slight improvement in order to be somebody there in the NFC South. So I feel like that division is up for grabs every year now that Mr. Tom Brady is no longer there. So who decides to come out of that? I feel Bryce Young makes a great pick because his mentality should be, I want to win it all in my first year here. And just following the rookie in his life would be a great call to be on this show. But regardless, season 1 is out now. Give it a look. Netflix's Quarterback. Please check it out. It is phenomenal. And that, my friends, is the end of my show today. I am glad that you have stuck with me. I know I was gone for a little while, but your girl's back now. I plan to be back for a while. Always be sure to tune in, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you gotta do. Keep this channel running. Let's do it. It's been 8 episodes. I've enjoyed it so much, and I enjoy talking about sports. My next episode, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. I will definitely be discussing the MLB. I have not forgotten about you. Trade deadline coming up July 31st, so there will be an episode. I know I mentioned that already in the sports and the baseball segment, but got to repeat myself for the folks back home. Thank you guys always for tuning in, and as always, till next time, peace.